Hello, happy Friday. I'm sorry if you were watching your Instagram stories a moment ago and kind of caught a glimpse of me trying to set up my system here. Has anybody else been befuddled by the new updates on Instagram? They've kind of just changed all the layout and everything. And I don't know, I keep going, where are my comments? Where are my stories? How do I load stuff? Ugh. Anyway, it will get better, she says. Optimistically, ever the positive. Let's get our friends on Facebook, shall we? Hopefully this will work because I've got a cracking live today. So fingers crossed it will all work. Right, this says poor network connection and my phone, hopefully. Am I the right way up, Facebook? I'm having a few technical difficulties this morning. Please let me know if it looks all right. So yeah, as I was just saying to my friends on Instagram, it's a cracking day today because I'm going to be joined live by a brilliant gynecologist obstetrician from America talking all about estrogen and the skin. Yeah, there's something that we haven't talked about before. So, we know that estrogen is really important when we take replacement estrogen, for example, with HRT, our skin often improves hugely. But what about applying it to the skin, putting it into skincare? Interesting. Am I sideways? I am sideways. Okay. So, what to do to make it not go sideways? How about that? The problem with that is, of course, it's the wrong format now. It means that you're not watching it properly. But for some reason, is that better? I'm getting thumbs up. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Miss Havisham. Hi, Bow Skincare. Oh, what's that? What were we talking about? Headbands. Okay, headbands and top. Okay, quick fashion alert before anything else. So this is an old jumper, really old jumper, that I got in a sale in Paris years ago from a little boutique called Inès de la Fressange, and she is a top model. She was the muse of Karl Lagerfeld for many years. I met her back in the day when I was doing fashion shows at GMTV, and she opened up this really super smart, chic little boutique. Forget where it was now, somewhere in Avenue Montaigne or somewhere super smart. Anyway, her emblem is the oak leaf. Do you see the oak leaves on the sleeves? And I've always loved the oak leaf, actually. And, here on my farm, I'm surrounded by oak trees. It's such a quintessential English tree, British tree. So I bought it and it was in the sale, which was really good. But it had a slightly funny neckline. And I think actually it also got attacked by moths, which wasn't so helpful. So last year, I don't know if you saw on my stories or my posts, when I went to Vivi Rouleau, which is the amazing ribbon emporium in Marylebone, and I bought lots of ribbons and trims, and I was decorating cuffs and doing all sorts, trying to make things look a bit more festive and sparkly, which of course I shall come to. I shall have to get them all out of my wardrobe in the coming weeks. And I just found this really fab piece of, it's almost like grosgrain, with the metallic. It's got a little bit of stretch in it too, and I just stitched it round here just to kind of give that kind of modern sharpness to a sweater that must be, at least 20 years old. Actually more, my goodness, I stopped filming for GMTV like 25 years ago, so yeah, long time. So that's the sweater chat. Necklace is from my Wild Rose collection with 25% off everything, and it's the rose gold, which I love, and it just picks up all the little goldy bits here. It's got 3 different lengths you can wear it. This is one of the longer settings because it just sort of emphasizes the V. And then the headband, for those of you who were with me on Wednesday, is one of Annie's, Annie Reid at Sansom Reid, and I just love it. And actually I was looking back at what she was saying. It's so soft. I wish you could feel it. It's really silky soft. I obviously got it wrong when I was trying all my headbands on, because she was saying don't wear it like a schoolgirl, where you pull your hair back like that. Well, I kind of like that because I don't like, particularly when I'm working or writing or cooking, whatever, I don't like my hair kind of falling in my face. I often pull it back in a ponytail. So she said, no, what you have to do is you wear your headband by just literally placing it on like that, so it looks a bit more modern. So you've still got kind of hair here. I don't know, what do you think? Pull the hair back or leave it out? Let me know. Anyway, Annie says I have to wear it like that. That's how the Duchess of Cambridge wears hers, so I shall just do as I'm told. How about that? So I have today in the house, we have Amy on Facebook. Hi, Amy. Amy's my digital editor, and she is manning Facebook for me, and she has sent me a lovely link to everything that we are going to be talking about today. So we've got lots to crack through. I'm going to quickly give you a little bit of a reminder of where we are with Margaret Dabbs, because so many of you commented on the amazing hand and foot care. So, and if you've signed up for the newsletter, so there's our Wellbeing newsletter, you'll be getting a link in that also, just to remind anybody who forgets. Really exceptional hand and foot care, everything from feet lotions to the firming leg serum. It's my new addiction. The leg spray is also amazing. I love the hand treatments. I love the cleansing gel for if you're out and about and don't have any water. I love the hand sanitizer, which is not like one of these stripping alcohol-based ones. It's got alcohol in it, but it really just seems to moisturise the hands at the same time. It's really clever. Fabulous feet foot lotion, epic. I'm absolutely going to continue using that. Where have you been all my life? This foot file. Everybody said when I was talking about it, I think it was on Monday, wasn't it, when I did the live with Margaret here. So many comments, particularly on Instagram, saying, oh my goodness, I've got a foot file. I love it. I can't be without it. And I was thinking, yeah, a foot file. But actually, do you know what? I'm absolutely, totally hooked. It's metallic. Not just metallic, it is metal. I think she said it was made of stainless steel. So really robust, will last you forever. It's probably going to last longer than I am, certainly at this rate. And it comes with the double sides for the emery boards and replacement pads that you stick on. So really hygienic, you can use it for other members of the family. When it wears out, you don't need to replace the whole thing. You just buy the new little sticky bits. Absolutely brilliant. Honestly, use this on dry skin on your heels or any little areas where you get calluses and corns forming, as Margaret said. And it's going to save a fortune for pedicures and chiropody and all of that. Really, really like it. Grab it now if you haven't got one, while we've still got Liz Loves 20% off, because that's a really generous discount. And that lasts, I think, until Sunday night. And then follow it with one of the foot creams. This I'm really enjoying too, the foot hygiene cream. Smells great, just transforms feet. And yeah, thank you, Margaret, if you're watching. Thank you. So appreciate that. So I can see we've got lots and lots of people tuning in from all over the world. Oh my goodness. Lots of lovely hearts. Thank you. Thank you. And breathe. It's been one of those weeks, hasn't it? It has for me anyway. It's been just crazy. I don't know what's going on. Partly the weather. Very British thing, isn't it? I blame the weather. We don't know what we're doing, do we? Have you heard that expression, a monkey's wedding? Well, that's what we've had a lot down here on the West Country. It's, 1 minute the sun is shining, the next it's a howling gale, the next it's, pouring with rain. And there have been a few just sporadic moments when we've had the most beautiful light. If you looked at my Instagram this morning, oh my goodness, my view when I woke up, the sky was like crimson. It was like a painting. I put it on my stories, and then I also actually put it on my main grid as well, because it was a quick snap on my phone, and it looks like an amazing oil painting. Just extraordinary, isn't it, how the nature and the sky can just turn like that. Really, really amazing. And of course the view across the fields and all the leaves turning brown, was just lovely. But anyway, the weather here has been really strange. So monkey's wedding is when the sun is shining and it's raining at the same time. So it's supposed to be very lucky if you're out and about in a monkey's wedding. So I don't know if you've heard that description before. So Margaret Dabbs. Now I'm hoping that we will be able to do a split screen on my Instagram any moment now with Dr. Rebecca Booth. And she and her sister set up this amazing range called VENeffect, which we do have a Liz Loves for, which I'm really excited about, because it's a big seller in America. It's not really so widely known about here. And I have a podcast coming out next week with Dr. Rebecca, where we really go in depth talking about the role of estrogen and her clinical work and all of that. But I thought it'd be really fun before that if we could do a little split screen together. So let us see where we have. I've got a message to read out later. Claire on Facebook. Yeah, I'll come to you. Right, let me see whether we have requests. Can't see you at the moment. I think you'd probably come up as VENeffect, wouldn't you? Let me just go to see all. Yes, We are here. Oh, I think I had to request something to do with the newfangled upgrade of Instagram. Don't you hate it when that happens? You know, you're so used to using a platform of something. Hi, Rebecca.
Good morning. Well, it's probably afternoon there, right?
It is only just afternoon. Only just. What time is it with you? Where are you speaking from?
It's about 7:44 here in Louisville, Kentucky.
In Kentucky. I'm just going to try and turn you up a bit. Here we go.
Yeah.
So that's better. That's better. So our lovely friends on Instagram can see you. Our friends on Facebook and YouTube, alas, can't, but you are so fascinating and you're going to have so much to say that actually it's the words, as always, that count. I'm just going to tip the phone up a little bit. So let's talk about your background, because you are a very experienced, very well regarded obstetrician gynecologist. Is that right? Is that your background?
Well, I would like to say I'm a lucky obstetrician gynecologist, but thank you. Yes. Yes, it's the field of medicine I said I wouldn't want to do under any circumstances, but I actually was seduced by the science. And
okay.
Yeah. And now I've been in private practice after training for 12 years after high school. I'm private practice now for 31 years. And lucky because my practice is all female. So I practice with 11 total OBGYN doctors. And we have about 10 to 11 mid-level, we call them practitioners, nurse practitioners or physician's assistants in my practice. And we do women wellness care throughout their lifetime and see about 350 women a day. Even right now, we're back up to, post-COVID levels, and with mammogram, bone density, obstetrical care, fertility care, menopausal care. And so I'm very lucky.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a lot of hard graft and experience. And talk us through your journey with hormones, because I don't know how it is in America. It'd be really interesting to get your take on this, because as you know, a lot of my community here know, and most of us here, I think, watching are midlife women who are affected by losing or lowering our levels of hormones as we age. What's the climate like in the States? What is the view on things like HRT over there?
A lot of fear. And I think you're aware of that, even though my feeling, having visited the UK and having many conversations with you and reading your book, is that the UK is a little bit more mature with their response to.
Oh my goodness, that's very depressing, because I don't think we're mature at all. So if you're not as mature in the States, heavens, that's a challenge.
Just about the Women's Health Initiative was released here, and you and I have spoken about it in 2002, and then a second arm in 2004. And ever since that time, we've been trying to clear the message or clarify. And women have been only recently in critical mass numbers in the fields that help use metaphors and communication, to your earlier point, the words, to help women understand, which can reduce the fear. But when you asked about my journey, probably my favorite story is the one that my sister and I share about how women like to share secrets and use metaphors to communicate with each other when they know tips, when they know recipes, when they know truths that may not be so obvious. And it was in a conversation with my sister, who was in the beauty industry, that the foundation of VENeffect, the skincare line that we founded, began. When she asked me about changes postpartum, which is sometimes a woman's first little window into what the ovarian retirement plan, as I call it, has in store.
The ovarian retirement plan. Not sure I like the sound of that one.
Well, you know, it's as
a care home for retired ovaries.
It's the biological clock. It's the same phenomenon, but we tend to, for some reason, we think of the biological clock only as it relates to fertility, and then we think of menopause as it relates to aging, and we don't see this continuum, and it leaves us unprepared to negotiate for it. And so that was what the conversation between two women, sisters in different backgrounds, were able to sort of hash out that there needed to be more understanding, hence more words. And then out of that came products. So opportunities for understanding.
I love that description of getting prepared to negotiate with the menopause, you know, with our hormone insufficiency. And you are really right. Obviously, you touched on the Women's Health Initiative study and the devastating fallout of that inaccurate reporting, the misrepresentation, the misleading. I mean, I'm in touch with is it Professor Simon in Washington, who's given the most fascinating lecture. And I'm going to try and bring that over here because he pulls absolutely no punches at all about the devastating damage that it's caused. So the women that you're seeing on a hormonal level relating to perimenopause and menopause, what kind of things are you prescribing for them in the States?
Well, again, isn't it typical of us to go right to prescribing, right? Because medicine is founded on illness. So we think problem, solution, when in fact menopause or the ovarian retirement is not a disease. So what I start out with is lifestyle. And that's where we really should be in healthcare. But most specialties are founded on illness, with the exception of OBGYN. OBGYN is founded
that's not really an expression we use in the UK. OBGYN, so that's obstetricians and gynecology. Yeah, OBGYN.
Right. The certification is dual. So even though now I don't do deliveries anymore, I like to say Mother Nature's sort of on your side when you're pregnant. I'm on the other side, the flip side of the record, right? Mother Nature's not quite as much on your side once your fertility has passed or if it's challenged with the biological clock. So that's where I sit with most of my patients. But I don't often start with the prescription. I start with words. Words are the most important thing. You can't negotiate with the design of nature unless you understand the phenomenon. So anyway, so the words are first, and they're trying to teach and explain and meet. And in the US, I don't know if this is true in the UK, it's a big challenge to have women be willing to spend time with us. They want me to spend time with them, but I have a hard time getting them to spend more time with me. In other words, I can't do it all in one sitting when I'm checking their breasts and their private parts and talking about their vaccines and their vitamins and their exercise and whatnot, and the mammogram and the bone density. I need them to come back and talk to me more about their priorities and help educate them. And that's the challenge of the healthcare system, is the time.
Yeah. And how do women respond over there when you talk about things like estrogen insufficiency and the fact that our hormones, they are running out and we do need to replace them for certain things? Are women very receptive over in the States, or are they still very fearful of the misinformation on breast cancer risks, for example?
Very fearful, but they want me often to tell them what to do. Okay, so that's the problem, right? It's not an illness model. Menopause and perimenopause and even fertility and the biological clock, they're not diseases. So it has to be just like family planning. It has to be a cooperation. I give the information and I need participation, and that's not intuitive to most in the model of healthcare.
Now, you mentioned earlier your sister Cecil, who's in the beauty industry, and the conversations that you had around estrogen. Talk us through the effect and role of estrogen within the skin, because that's something that we've not really talked about very much here at Earle Wellbeing.
Exactly. And as I've shared with you in the past, gynecologists are a little bit advantaged because we sit with regard to the patient in an area of skin where hormonal variation is super obvious. Women will talk about, I can't really tell about my cervical mucus. It's a subtle effect, right? When I'm most fertile, but I can see it. I can't really tell what's going on. I feel like I have urinary tract infection, but I can see that it's a lack of estrogen, right? Where I sit.
Oh my goodness. So you're sitting at the other end of the consulting couch.
Exactly.
With a magnifier and a bright light, looking somewhere where the sun definitely doesn't shine.
You just need light and good eyesight, but and a little experience and understanding. But the question about skin is the highest area of concentration of receptors for estrogen on skin is in sexual skin. So in the vulva and the vagina and certainly the cervix. But what's less known by many gynecologists even is that the second highest place for estrogen to have its effect on skin is the face.
Okay.
So our skin actually has a biological clock. We know it with bone. We know that women have a precipitous bone loss with menopause. That's often spoken about.
Yeah.
But what we don't realize often, or don't communicate, it's our job to communicate, but we don't do a good job of it sometimes, is that the loss of bone as it relates to estrogen is a loss of collagen in the bone, the same collagen in the skin. So a woman is literally programmed to reflect her estrogen levels in her skin. We know it in our cycle, but we don't really pay attention to it until it's negative. So we start assigning negative words to hormones. Like my skin is hormonal and we have spots.
Yeah.
But you know very well that when spots come, and as we call them blemish or pimples in the US, it's when our hormones are low. Yes. It's the PMS time when the hormones take a nosedive. So there's where the understanding is missing. So a dermatologist might refer to me, a woman who comes in and says, well, Dr. Booth, I'm seeing you because my dermatologist says that my acne is hormonal and you're the hormone expert. So then I'll giggle because acne is always hormonal. So, yeah. So, okay. So let's start again. There's not the understanding. So I want to go on the birth control pill because my acne is hormonal. They don't say I want to go on estrogen. Yes. Because my acne
how interesting though, talking about how you see it in your face, when you think about the glow of pregnancy, and very often it's your face that gives you away that you're pregnant before anything else, because you just have this amazing glow, and of course your estrogen levels are like skyrocketing.
Absolutely.
And I wonder whether that is a sort of built-in design. You know how our faces are designed to attract the opposite sex so that we can reproduce and keep the species going. Is that an outward sign then to our mate that we are no longer fertile? You can see it in our skin. It just becomes dry and lined. We're losing our collagen. I wonder whether that's a kind of an evolutionary thing.
Absolutely. Natural selection is the directive, and hormones are the power tools of natural selection. And so in doing so, those power tools carve the aesthetic, both the feminine and the masculine aesthetic. It's subtle. We're not often aware, because really if our changes were very dramatic, we could contracept. I mean, for example, if we knew that, that glow, if it was more obvious, we might say, oh, I'm definitely fertile in my fertile window right now. I can see it in my face. It's glowing so much. Yeah. And then we might contracept. So we have evolved that our aesthetic is manipulated in a very subtle way. And what happens is we're caught off guard when we're glowing. And that's the whole problem with sometimes unintended pregnancy. Yeah. Because we're not aware that we're sort of optimized. We focus on the negative and then we're like, oops, how did that happen?
And so interesting, what you were saying about, obviously, you're seeing up close and personal different bits of the body that actually, often women themselves don't even see. But when we know that estrogen cream, for example, or pessaries, vaginal pessaries, the role of that in reversing vaginal dryness and helping sort out recurrent UTIs and bladder infections and all of that, because you're changing the thickness of the skin and the collagen internally. And that makes so much sense, doesn't it? But then if you've got similar receptors on your face, so here's a question for you. Can I use my gel, my lovely estrogen gel, and start rubbing that on my face?
So
is it going to work in the same way?
Many women will put, if they have a gel form of transdermal estrogen, put the residual on their face. But here's the real truth. The products that are for hormone replacement are designed to go through the skin, transdermal, not topical. So the alcohol that often accompanies that can be drying to skin. It's not really formulated for the epidermis or even the dermis. It's the subdermal tissues and then into the bloodstream. But
so you want to get the estrogen then onto the epidermis. And are you saying that we can actually affect change by putting topical estrogen that's formulated in the right way onto the surface of the skin?
Absolutely. And it's been known for decades. The science has been worked out for many, many years. And even one could say it's been known for centuries. Because if anyone wants to look up this fascinating plant that's no longer around because it was farmed into extinction, named Silphium, Silphium, it was considered the first contraception that's documented. Yeah, yeah. In fact, it's said that the shape of the heart is taken from that seed that was farmed into extinction because it was used for its estrogenic properties, not only for enhancing one's metabolism, but to contracept. The whole discovery of the birth control pill was made from observing farm animals taking in plant estrogens, which is nature's natural mimic for estrogen. And it's been known for decades that those work on skin to improve not only collagen, but this incredible molecule that you know well, elastin, the best gravity fighter.
Yeah, love a bit of elastin.
Yeah, elastin is no wonder affected by estrogen, right? Think how much our bodies change when we're pregnant, to your point about elasticity, or even when we're sexual. I mean, the parts change so much with regard to elasticity and then regress when that's retired. Yeah. But what gynecologists know that even a tiny amount of topical estrogen on the vaginal and vulvar skin will repair that elasticity within days.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got, friends who have been really literally crippled with vaginal dryness. And, for myself, I've, had recurrent UTIs for years, endless rounds of antibiotics, and then just being helped with a bit of estrogen and, super safe vaginal estrogen cream, which, even people with breast cancer treatment can use. Certainly here, that's the way it can be used in the UK. It'd be interesting to hear, what you do in the States. So safe. And as you say, instant. Its effect on the skin tissues topically, instant.
So the interesting thing about phyto, as you say in the UK, estrogens, is again, they've been around and known for centuries, but they don't have the controversy. They have all of the benefits, but none of the risks of traditional estrogen. And so even though, to your very good point, topical estrogens on the vaginal tissues that are prescription are safe, phytoestrogens don't require a prescription.
No.
And they can be uniformly distributed. And yet, if you have effective ones, those that have enough potency to have an effect, you can demonstrate positive effects on the skin. And then you can elevate that skin and help inspire that elastin and other elements like hyaluronic acid, that plumpiness that we see in the lips of pregnant women. And what's lesser known is that, again, the receptors are actually in the epidermis. It's very unusual to have positive effects in the actual epidermis. Often receptors for vitamin C and other anti-inflammatories or antioxidants are in the dermis, require getting through the barrier of the skin. But when it comes to estrogen receptors, they're actually right there. Again, just all you need to do is keep using.
Wow. So you kind of learnt all of this through your obstetric and gynae work, and then your sister was working in beauty. So you've pulled that knowledge together. I love the fact that you can come together as two sisters with two totally different specialist fields and then create a range. VENeffect. I love this. This is skin calming mist. This is one of my favorites, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mist is fabulous, isn't it? Yeah, it'll give you that. It's the glycerin too in it, besides the phytoestrogens, that gives you that little glow and is a great humectant.
So do you use phytoestrogens throughout the whole range? This is lovely too. You call it anti-aging moisturizer, SPF 15. That's really delicious.
Yes, the SPF I keep right on my desk and in my car because when I'm driving, I want that protection, on my skin so that I don't get those age spots. And the phytoestrogens also fade them as well.
Phytoestrogens will fade age spots.
Yes, they interfere with an enzyme that causes the melanin. So it's interesting. It's the opposite of traditional estrogen. Traditional estrogen will inspire melanin, the linea nigra of pregnancy, the dark line, or the spots on the face. You may have heard of melasma. But phytoestrogens block. They're selective in their effects. All of the benefits, none of the risks. That's also metabolically when we eat them as well, such as plants that are high in phytoestrogens like flax seeds and chia seeds and
Yeah.
different parts of the plant. It's pretty amazing.
Really, really interesting. Now, your range is not hugely available in the UK, but we have got a special offer, and I'm going to give everyone just a little bit of advance warning about it, because we're really going to be talking about this when we launch our podcast, which we've recorded together, that's going out next Wednesday. So put a date in your diary for that, because that is so fascinating. So we just have 100 sets of these, and they are expensive, but they are super, super good. It's called the Luminosity Duo. So that's your best-selling anti-aging intensive moisturizer, that's the name of it, and the firming Phyto Lift Serum. Sounds good. And that has a huge saving of 38% off and free UK P&P. And what Rebecca and her team did is they sent over 100 of these sets over to the UK just for us. So we don't have to pay international import duty or any of that. And they have come down. They were priced in dollars. I think it was $380, but we've got the discount on that. I think it's about £180. We'll have to check that exactly. We'll put details up on that. And what I love about those two, yes, they are expensive, but you can see what the science is behind it. I mean, if that's something that you want to try. And I do love a bag, okay? This is the beautiful bag they come in. Honestly, when I got sent that, I thought, wow, what designer has sent me this lovely clutch bag? And it's the VENeffect. I'm actually going to use this as an evening bag. It's like a sort of matte metallic snakeskin. Isn't that great? So that is their bag that you get the two products in. So there you go. I just wanted to give you a bit of advance warning on that if you wanted it, because that's being launched next week. I think I've lost Rebecca, but I think hopefully she's coming back. It's our internet. Here we go, VENeffect. And you can see all their products actually on, I think it's VENeffect.com. Now they have also given us a Liz Loves discount code. Hi again, Rebecca. Sorry, I was just taking that moment to talk about the special.
Sorry about that.
No, don't worry at all. So the two things that we have in this lovely Luminosity Duo that I was just talking about, that's the intensive moisturizer and the firming Phyto Lift Serum. I know, I've just been showing your bag. I can't believe you get this lovely bag free.
My favorite part, besides the fact that it's TSA and you can see things in it, is the little embellishment that's the leaf seed that represents the phytoestrogens on it. That's Cecil design. She's so talented with that design element. So yeah.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Now tell us about the serum, though,
So
because I know that my audience love a serum. We get lots of stuff online about serums.
You know, I was so skeptical about serums when we started out because most serums have oil or silicone, which can be a barrier on the epidermis. So, but our formulators assured us, and they actually use this lovely vehicle that's made from the oat kernel. And it has this natural lifting or tensor effect at the same time as the oat kernel itself is a sort of a reproductive element of the plant. So we simply loaded it up with our phytoestrogens. And the good news is because there's no oil or silicone, it goes right into skin. And a tiny amount goes a very long way. So such a luxurious feeling product. And again, just slip it on, immediately goes into skin. And then to seal the deal, what we call our Luminosity Duo, you sandwich it in with our intensive moisturizer. So that comes again in our deal that we have through Liz Loves.
Yeah.
And intensive moisturizer is sort of what Cecil calls her desert island product, because it's packed with phytoestrogens that go immediately into the skin. And then it sandwiches in on top of the serum that incredible effect that feeds that epidermis, its inspiration to make more hyaluron, more collagen, and more elastin.
It's really fascinating, isn't it? The science behind that, how using specific plant-based phytoestrogens here, we can actually, if you like, trick our epidermal estrogen receptive skin cells to be producing their own collagen, elastin. It's like getting your body to work in a younger way itself, without any kind of artificial intervention.
That's exactly right. It's borrowing from nature. Often what we do, I mean, after all, even when we take in food, we're sort of borrowing from nature and recycling to sustain our energy level and whatnot. This is a way to sort of negotiate with nature, and stabilize our aesthetic. Just
Yeah.
like I try to teach my patients how to stabilize their metabolism through the ovarian retirement plan, or their bone density, or their scalp hair. All of these can be negotiated if you use these very safe tools to continue the inspiration and what we call the Venus effect, rather than
Yeah, I
just.
love that. So of course, VENeffect, that's what it's actually standing for. It's very clever. Venus effect.
Yeah.
Talk to me about thinning scalp hair, because that's another issue that comes up time and time again on my questions. How do you, as a gynecologist and an obstetrician, how do you counsel your female patients with something that's ostensibly unrelated, hair loss?
Right. And I've talked about before, but I always say Botticelli somehow knew the effects of estrogen on the feminine aesthetic. And it's the opposite of testosterone with regard to hair. Testosterone, which becomes just a wee bit dominant in the PMS, postpartum, and perimenopause and menopause, suppresses scalp hair. But estrogen inspires scalp hair, and it's the opposite with body hair. So much of the research on hair has been done in animal studies, but animal studies is really fur. The model
it's all over their bodies, isn't it?
It relates more to body hair, which throws the research off. So there are products, for example, in Germany, over the counter, that are topical estrogens for scalp hair. So what I talk about with women is trying to limit their excess testosterone, which is usually inspired by insulin. Yeah, I know, a whole nother podcast, right?
Yeah, let's be for another day. That's fascinating.
Yeah,
testosterone and insulin link.
Keep sugar down, to lessen the excessive testosterone, and then inspire the scalp hair again with diets high in phytoestrogen. And there you have it, another potential product for topical use on the scalp, which we are working on.
Very, very interesting. And what about skin on the body? You've talked about how we have these estrogen receptors, in two unique areas, vaginally and then on the face. What about the rest of the body? Does it kind of stop at the chin, or do we include the neck, or what about the arms and the legs?
Well, interestingly, one could say there are probably more receptors in the skin on the legs or the thigh than there are even on the skin of the breast, because think where hormones have their effect. When you start puberty, right, you start getting hair on the legs. So you and I have talked before, but the beauty industry even knew that phytoestrogens were topically effective, because a few years back, Jergens and Aveeno and many other mass products available would include phytoestrogens to help reduce the times a woman needed to shave.
I remember those products. I don't know whether they're still around, but I remember you could, as a beauty editor, being sent products that, were for that, for using on legs and underarms to slow the rate of hair regrowth.
Absolutely. And so they didn't catch on in a big way, although it went around the industry, because women still had to shave or wax. It didn't eliminate the hair, but it made the hair more fine and less times needed to shave. But the point is, the concept was there all along, and the beauty industry does know this. What's missing, as we started out our conversation, are the words. The words to help communicate it for understanding. But I use our neck product, which I adore, because the neck is so vertical and elastin is so incredibly important here. Yeah. I use it on my body. And it helps brighten. It decreases the age spots because the phytoestrogens interrupt that. And it goes in just a lovely way. We're able to dial up the moisturizer on neck product because there isn't as much blemish prone areas on the neck. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful product.
But I'm going to play devil's advocate and put you on the spot a bit here, Rebecca. I'm always suspicious when, beauty companies say, oh, you've got to have, this product for the face and this product for the neck. Physiologically, what is the difference? Why would I need a different product for my neck?
Well, we talked about that the neck is not really blemish prone, right? Now think about this. Women who have rosacea, why do we get it just on our face? And skin is really different. We could go on and on about rosacea, and there's an explanation, but suffice it to say, it has a lot to do with sebaceous glands, which are distinctly less on the neck. So there's less moisturization, and it ages. Nora Ephron knew that. She did a whole book, you know, I Feel Bad About My Neck. Did you ever read that book? It's wonderful.
No, I feel bad about my neck. There is a whole book called that.
Yes, Nora Ephron. Yeah, wonderful. You should read it. It's great. But
I will. That's going to be on my Christmas reading list. Sounds great.
The other thing is that the neck is prone towards histamine release, right? You've seen women who, yes. So what's the enemy of histamine is fragrance. And what do you find often in products designed for the neck? Ironically and sadly, fragrance. And so we formulated higher amounts of shea butter and emolliency because the neck can take it. There aren't as many sebaceous glands or spot prone on the neck. Okay. And zero fragrance, right? Because we don't want the blotchiness. Yeah, so we really are. Our skin is different in different areas, and a lot of that has to do with nature.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. I'm impressed. Just to say, Instagrammers, we're kind of a bit missing out on Facebook here because your lovely team, Rebecca, I can see are replying to a lot of questions on Facebook. Thank you. And putting up links to the offer codes and all the extra information about some of the things that we're talking about here. So if anybody is watching on Instagram and fancies later hopping on and reading through the thread, there's some fascinating information that's going up there. So thank you very much on that. I'm going to have to draw it to a close now, Rebecca. We could talk for a long time. Will you come back and join us again?
I would love to, and love to offer what we're offering on the 20% off on all the products, not just the great deal on our Luminosity Duo and bag. So
that's so fantastic. Just to remind, if you want the bag and the Luminosity Duo, Rebecca and her team very kindly sent over some sets to the UK. So that means that they'll come more quickly. There won't be any import duty. The postage is, really low, etc., etc. And then the other things I think are coming direct from you in the States, but we'll make sure that we put all that information up. If you are not on Facebook, do please make sure that you get the newsletter that's going out today. You've got a couple of hours to sign up for it if you're not already, because there will be a link to everything in the newsletter today. Rebecca, it's such a pleasure. And I'm so looking forward to releasing our podcast. That's going live next Wednesday. So we've got about an hour really focusing on all of this and more, and it's completely fascinating. I was blown away by what you were saying.
Thanks so much, Liz. It's been an honor to work with you, and I hope we keep it going because we need to unite across the pond with this messaging.
We do. We need to join hands. Oh, most definitely. And we need to get this message out about hormone insufficiency and what we can do to help all women, mostly midlife and beyond, but of course all women. It's just so important.
Absolutely.
Thank you. You're getting lots of hearts and nice comments. So enjoyed this.
Love it.
Thank you. Take care. Hope to see you in real life soon.
Oh, I know, soon. Let's all pray. Vaccines coming. So yeah.
Take care. Bye-bye. All so interesting. I have spent my life being based on evidence-based well-being. And when I first heard that somebody was shoving phytoestrogens into skin cream, I just thought, well, that's a bit of a fad. And then when I looked more into it and spoke many times now with Dr. Rebecca and heard about what's going on behind the scenes and the way the skin is, I mean, it's just so fascinating. And of course, it makes perfect sense. When you think about what happens, the immediate reaction when you're using something like a vaginal pessary on the skin tissues, that is an impact on the skin, isn't it? So if we can find a way of tweaking the formulation to actually get it properly absorbing into the skin. Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating stuff. Right, before I go, I'm sure we'll be continuing this conversation. Isn't it interesting how you just kind of start a little seed of something and then the thread just grows and grows and grows. So don't forget, we have got just until Sunday for Margaret Dabbs, okay, hands and feet. Something that I just wanted to throw out there really quickly because I was beginning to think about, must think about checking the last postage dates for overseas for Christmas cards. And we put a little piece online on lizearlewellbeing.com about charity Christmas cards that you might want to support this year. Some of us might have a bit more time, maybe, sit and write Christmas cards. And perhaps it's more important than ever to connect with people that we don't see so often with something real, not just an e-card, but, you know, something real. So I wanted to share with you, these are my Christmas cards that I designed for Live Twice, which is my charity. So they're very simple. They basically are the dove of peace. I love them because they're really stylish. It's a dove which has got the heart as his wings. Do you see? And then in his beak, he's got a little bit of mistletoe rather than an olive branch. And it's peace on earth. And then it just says, wishing you joy and peace at Christmas. And then it says, there's just a message from Luke here that says, and the angel said to them, fear not, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all people. That's what we want, isn't it? Joy. I don't know if any of you remember my word of the year, sadly not very prophetic, back in January, was joy. So there have been moments of joy this year, not quite so many as perhaps I was hoping for, but there have been moments of joy. And so anyway, spread a little joy. So what I did, the Live Twice website, which is my charity, I have to say it's not very sophisticated. So I haven't been able to put any offer codes or anything like that. So what I just said to my lovely administrator is, look, if anybody orders 4 packs of the cards, can we send 5? Okay, just to make it easy. So it won't say that on the website. You just have to trust me on this, okay? But they're $3.95 a pack, so they're really cheap. And all the proceeds here go to the Live Twice charity projects that you can read about. And yeah, if you buy 4 packs, then we'll just send you an extra pack in the envelope free. Okay, so anyway, if you're thinking about buying Christmas cards, then do take a look, livetwice.org. A couple of other questions here. Oh, look, Jacqueline on Insta says, can you recommend a serum? Well, I guess after talking to Dr. Rebecca, it's going to have to be hers, isn't it, for now? But yes, I mean, serums I think are all really good. The key ingredients I look for are things like hyaluronic acid. I like the Beauty Pie serums. I try different things. It's often quite hard for me to pinpoint, you know, one particular thing, because I like to try different things just to see how they are and how they're working. But yeah, certainly perhaps look into the VENeffect one, although I do know that it is quite pricey. Before I go, Claire, I hope you're still watching on Facebook, because you say would love a birthday shout out today, please, Liz. Appreciating my birthday even more today. So lucky to be safe and healthy. Yes, happy birthday. I hope you're having a good one. I have got my Friday 5 podcast talking about happy and healthy, because that's pretty much the focus of it. So that will be coming out a little bit later on today, as will the newsletter with lots of good things. I've also got a new vlog I uploaded to YouTube yesterday, so I hope you've had a chance to see that. Make sure that you have got your Christmas download. Okay, this is your homework for the weekend. A happy, healthy Christmas. I've actually printed it out, this one, so that you can see a little bit of everything that's in there. I'm going to be cooking recipes from this in the next coming weeks. So I'm going to be thinking about making the Christmas cake, the Christmas pudding, everything with a well-being twist. So lower sugar, lots of nuts and seeds and healthy spices, all of those things. So do make sure that you've got that if you haven't already. And of course, the other e-guide is Stay Well, Stay Energized. Really important. I hope you are enjoying that. All of those who got the free copy, I hope you are really enjoying it. And it is just up now online for sale with all the other ones. I think all the e-guides are $4.99, I think. Very much looking forward to my first ever live Zoom event tonight for those who have bought their wine box. This is the organic, biodynamic, really special selection of 12 wines for Christmas, or sooner, should you fancy it. So everybody who has bought that wine box gets the ticket to the Zoom wine tasting tonight with myself and Master of Wine Richard Bampfield. So if you just check your inbox, basically, because it's the little the code is coming direct from Vintage Roots, who are the distributors for the wines. They're sending out the email invite to all those who are on their list who have bought the box. So I look forward to seeing you later. Anyway, I'm sending lots of love. Might keep my headband on today. I rather like it. What do you think? Anybody else got any other headbands? If you've got any of these lovely headbands, do take pictures and post them. I'd love to see, and let me know whether I should be wearing it like this or pulled back. I think I have to just get used to the fact that it's a bit chicer, isn't it, to wear it this way rather than a kind of a schoolgirl way, which Annie would tell me off, wouldn't you, Annie, if you're watching? Anyway, sending lots of love to everybody. Stay happy, safe and well. And I look forward to being back with you live on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.